Hi, welcome into Sparkle.Sanctuary. I'm so glad you're here today. For those of you that are new, my name's Rebecca. I already kind of got started and realized that I was having some technical issues, so hopefully you don't mind. I'm not going to be able to finish this square anyway, so, but yeah, today's video is a WIP and chat. WIP is for work in progress. I'm going to be working on this square of my diamond painting, and I'll just chat with you about the things that happened with me this week. And then also, I think maybe at the end, I will maybe bring up and talk about my thoughts on AI. So we'll see how that goes. I may or may not to put that in. But anyway, this is my second to last section. This section here is actually my last one. So if I get all of this completed this weekend, then I will go ahead and post a picture of this completed at the end of my video today, which will be fun. I'll just put in a clip of it. So I am currently using, because this section is kind of big, I am currently using my larger Bella Art Dana Cole tray, but when I go to smaller colors, I'll actually switch to the smaller tray because I prefer that one. I just keep going back to these trays because the way they fit my hands. So I do have other trays. I will hopefully incorporate them in future videos, but you know, just kind of go back to habit. But so yeah, there's a lot of trash in some of these colors, so I picked this one because it's a little bit less trash prone. This letter A here, there's quite a bit of it, and it goes across. I'm hoping I have enough. I'm not sure I will though, because there's so much trash, so I don't know. But yeah, and I'm still using my Peachy Keen pen that I won, and my still sitting cover binders and everything. So okay. So the last time I did a video was last Saturday, I believe. So I kind of gave information already updated about what was happening that day. Sunday, I think I've mentioned in previous videos that I sing in church. And so Sunday I did sing, and then the rest of the day was just kind of spent hanging out with family, eating, cooking, that kind of stuff, you know, normal Sunday, whatever, Sunday activities. Then this week, Monday through Friday, of course, I worked, and so I'll just kind of talk about little things that happened during those days. Monday, there was a kiddo who was struggling to go to class in kindergarten, and I went and was kind of working and helping him. He struggles with getting into the classroom and doing, you know, the tasks that he's been asked to do. And his teacher was a little bit flustered, trying to get him to at least go into the safe corner or the peace corner, or, you know, just be somewhere where he's not just running around the classroom, because that's not helpful to the other kids. It doesn't set a good example. Like it can be problematic. Sorry, there's a piece of trash there. To have a kid doing something like that. So I saw her struggling a little bit and went in the classroom and sat down and kind of talked to him and engaged with him a little bit. He was refusing to talk to me at first, and then I started asking him about his t-shirt, and he had on a Ninja Turtle t-shirt, and he knew all the names of the Ninja Turtles, told me he likes the Ninja Turtles. And then when I saw him kind of wandering a little bit towards an area of the room, he started reaching into a bucket, and sure enough, there was a little tiny ninja character toy. And I ended up just telling him, like, you know, your teacher gives opportunities to play with these toys. There's a reason they're in your classroom. But if you're not listening and doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, she really can't let you play with them. So let's go do what we're supposed to do, listen to the teacher, and then, you know, we can talk to her about playing with the Ninja Turtles. And he said okay, and he went over and he started working and doing what he was supposed to, which was amazing. I am so sorry if you can hear a lawnmower. I have been trying all morning. It's like 11, a little after 11 here, and I've been trying all morning to record this video, but you know, at points I'm hearing cicadas, which is really weird because normally I only hear them in the evening. And then my girls had their fans on in their rooms, which we all sleep with a fan. So sometimes when you have that, you know, multiple fans, it can be hard to hear over things. And so I just didn't want to record because I didn't want you guys to hear it. And now there's mowing going on, and yeah, so I'm hoping all of the background noise is not too annoying. Yeah, anyway, so I was very grateful to get that kiddo, the Ninja Turtle shirt kiddo, into class. And then I had an idea to help out with the afternoon walkers, because I work with the kindergarten and first grade walkers and their siblings, and they all come into a room with me, and we just kind of assist with getting the kiddos picked up by parents. And I had some concerns about the safety because we had parents just kind of entering the building, and kids would see their parents and then run off, or see somebody they care about, right, and run off. Because if you see somebody, like, you know, if my kids had seen an uncle or a grandparent, they may have gone running up to them at that age. So I talked to the assistant principal, who was also on duty during that time, and I said, I feel like this is just kind of unsafe. So we came up with the idea to utilize a tag set. Well, first I had said something about using the car rider line has a spreadsheet that like their names are put onto it and then they're picked up that way. Well, we had talked about it, and she decided to do tags on their backpacks and to give the tags to parents instead. But last week it had been such a disaster that I went and talked to her about this idea of really trying to go through with that spreadsheet, and we implemented it starting, I think it was Monday afternoon, and Monday was a little bit of a mess, but as the week went on, it got so much better, and people are just responding a lot better to it. At first, obviously, you know, people don't like change, and so there was a few issues in the beginning, but man, it was so much better, and I don't have to deal with parents coming in grumpy and things like that, and I know what kids are leaving, and it's a lot better. Now, there are some glitches to it, obviously, because like if like her connection or my connection aren't on par, then it's problematic. That's why I prefer to use my Chromebook, but there's like no stand in the cafeteria where we are, and so it gets like holding my computer and trying to get these kiddos out the door is a little bit of a challenge. I tried using my phone on Friday, and my phone went into I had to put my phone into airplane mode and then leave it again because I completely lost connection, to any services because of the way the school is built. So, I mean, honestly, it all works out fine. The kiddos are getting out in a fast enough timeline, and I don't feel like it's a big deal. And the assistant principal loves it and is very happy with the way things are going. So I'm very glad that we were able to get that implemented. But so yeah, that was really great to have. And then on Tuesday, I had there was a couple kiddos that were struggling after leaving breakfast, that they were didn't know where their classroom was. And so I stood in the hallway and taught the kindergartners different symbols and things they could look for in the hallway to find their way back to class. And I just continued to do that throughout the week as well. And it was really neat seeing how few kids were lost on Friday and seeing them actually getting to their classes. That makes me feel good. You know, I'm not a teacher in a classroom, and so, and I know how hard, they work hard, and it's got to be hard to work with kiddos who are having behaviors or who just, the system that we work for, because the kind of neighborhood it is, these kiddos, a lot of them just have never had any of these lessons, and so they're having to start with these kiddos in kindergarten with stuff that most kiddos would have learned in probably preschool. I think that's why we have so many kiddos in preschool. I think they try to ensure that this doesn't happen as much as possible, get these kiddos kind of on the path to success as young as they can, which is amazing. But anyway, that was okay. And then I had to intervene with a couple of, I think they were 4th graders or 5th graders. During a lunchtime, I went in to help out, and during that lunch period, they were like, there's these kids, there's issues. So I pulled those kiddos aside, and it ended up I was asked by the principal to take them out and, pull them out of class in the afternoon, make sure they were good to go, make sure that they made up and had a conversation about what happened when they weren't, in the cafeteria. And so I did. And when I pulled them out of class, one of them was like, he's going to tell you we were joking. It wasn't really joking. It didn't feel like joking. And I was like, okay, so can you kind of give me some information? And he was like, well, and then the other kid came up, and so I was like, this seems a little fishy. And then they both get into the room, and they're like, she just took it the wrong way. We were just roasting each other. It's fine. And I was like, this feels really odd. So I tried asking additional questions to see if the other kiddo would feel safe saying anything, see if maybe he was actually like pretending they were roasting and actually had gotten his feelings hurt. He did not act that way. In fact, he was laughing and joking, and that can be a kind of a red flag. So I did try to double check with him later, and he said he was fine, more independently, and so I don't know. It was a very interesting situation, but basically it all boils down to that they were roasting each other and got caught and shouldn't have been saying those kinds of things in the school. So they got in trouble temporarily, but it didn't last long, and it didn't take me very long to talk to them. So yeah, it was a kind of a weird a weird thing, but those were my two big like memorable moments from Tuesday. On Wednesday, so I share a room with two ladies I mentioned in another video, and they are both teacher interventionists. They like help out with teachers, they help out with testing, they do that kind of stuff. And yeah, we're all sharing the space together. And that week, the school district required, map testing to see where the kids are, where they're starting out. And so some of these teachers hadn't done some of their map testing, and then there was other testing going on. And so these ladies ended up pulling quite a few kiddos into our office space in order to test them for these things. And that wouldn't have been a problem, except that I also have kiddos that have behaviors that I need to bring in and things like that. And so it's kind of difficult because it's just as difficult, when you have kiddos coming in with behaviors and then you have teachers in a room that are trying to test students. Like, that doesn't work together. So we're just trying to navigate, sharing this space and trying to figure out what we're going to do. And it just is kind of what it is. And we will eventually figure things out. But yeah, it was a little bit interesting. Luckily, the kid that I brought in during that time actually had earned a reward. He had earned a nice happy break. And so I had this, Sam's Club has these, it's like a bluey sand table. It's just like a box with all of this. It's got kinetic sand in it and different things that you can play with in it. And so I let him play with that as a reward and got him to class. And he was doing so much better that day. And he had been struggling earlier, and so much so that, we had to have a parent meeting because he's just a kindergartner who's just struggling to, do what he's been asked and to do the, just all the things. So it's okay. That's all right. But, I was so grateful to see he was having such a good day. But anyway, and then, just trying to navigate like meeting parents and doing these meetings that I didn't do last year. I did have one parent that I met with last year, but it was I was the one doing a lot of the talking because I was working with the kiddo more. And so this was just different, kind of sitting in and listening to these parents kind of communicate their concerns and the staff communicate their concerns and just kind of sit and not really do a whole lot. So I also, that day I also kind of worked on putting together that was the next day. So the next day on Thursday, I helped put together a visual schedule for a kiddo and gave that over to the teacher. And so that was nice. I think the laminator that we have at the school has really thin paper. And so I'm not sure how long that'll last. She had already said something on Friday about it possibly coming apart and looking at laminating at home. I have a laminator here personally. Sorry, I hope I didn't bump my mic, but I do have a laminator personally, but I don't want to use it. That paper is expensive, and I don't know that I would be reimbursed for that just because of how much I would possibly need it. I don't know. So we shall see. But normally that kind of visual schedule stuff and laminating would go to the dean of students or to the social worker, but that kiddo doesn't have that kind of need for a social worker. And the dean was also the person who's doing the intervention. So she was testing. So I was like, I've done visual schedules before. I'll do this. So that was, I was able to take care of that. But, so that was something that I did Thursday. Also, sorry. Forgot really fast. Back to Wednesday. There were so many meetings and things going on that the counselors were all busy. the deans of students were all busy, and everybody was in like like I said, they were all in meetings and things. And so honestly, like any behaviors that day that happened, and then any coverage that day that happened, they needed, it was me, because I was the only one not in those meetings. And the assistant principal, I assume, had some availability, but I don't know how much she was available. So I just tried to be as responsive as possible and help out where I could. And, you know, I just, yeah. So that was a very interesting day, very, very busy. So then Thursday was much more laid back. I didn't have quite as much, you know, going on. The other people were more involved, and I'm grateful that we have the kind of team that we have, because there are, you know, quite a few kiddos. So then I did speak with the assistant principal about a first grader that I've been observing, that I felt like there was possibly too many people working with him. And for the situation, just with my background, I was like, there's a lot of people working with this kiddo, and I feel like it's possibly actually making things worse for that kiddo. And so I was trying to talk to her and see if maybe I should not answer to the calls for that one, and see if we could limit, like, have her get an idea of how many people they want to have working with him, and then figure that out. And she was like, sure. And so then, as goes with the school system, I ended up being the person that they decided is going to work with him exclusively. So if there are issues and I'm with another kiddo, I'm actually supposed to call and say, hey, I need somebody to cover the kiddo I'm working with, because I need to go down and work with this other kid, which is, it is what it is. It is what it is, you know? I don't love it, but these, you know, the kids, if that's going to give this kiddo consistency and security, then that's just what it is. I'm happy to be that person, you know? So I haven't really, you know, like that day, because Wednesday was a big struggle for that kiddo. There were so many, I mean, I think there were 6 or 7 different people that checked in on him that day. And especially in the morning, and then in the afternoon, like I said, when we were shorter and everybody was in meetings, other people tried to intervene that weren't really on his case, and it escalated, and his dad ended up having to be called. And like, we don't ever want to have to go there, you know? Like, I know some schools will just call parents and be like, come get your kid, but we try very hard to be a school where we provide those supports and not have to contact parents. We want the kiddos to be in class and to learn, and as I'm sure most schools do. And I don't know, I really felt bad for him struggling that day, and I had talked to the teacher, and the teacher wanted to be more involved. And so, yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm on the team. I get a little bit more of an idea of what's going on, and I don't, you know, like, I can communicate with the teacher and make sure everybody's on the same page. So that's really nice, because the teacher didn't even know that the dad had been called that day. And when I went to talk to her in the afternoon, she was like, I don't understand what's happening, and I feel kind of left out, which made me feel bad for her. And that's never, like, she's the teacher. She should ultimately, you know, aside from the principals, she should ultimately be the one that's in charge of what's happening with that kid. And so, yeah, I'm glad that I spoke with her. And while I've definitely learned a lesson, because, you know, just you speak up, and then they will kind of put you into place where they need you, I'm okay with, like, that was an okay lesson for me, if that makes sense. So, let's see, what else? Oh, yeah. So, kindergarten, there's 98 kindergartners at our school, and these kiddos are all over the place. And we have people who come in and work with them very briefly for recess. Like, it's literally like 15 minutes that they have them. And it's very difficult to figure out all of the kiddos that are supposed to be in your group in that 15 minutes. And just to avoid incident, or, you know, a kiddo getting lost or mixed in the shuffle, because there has been quite a few times when, like, the staff that brings in one kiddo is actually not supposed to bring them in. They were supposed to be with another group. Everybody's getting inside. Everybody's fine. Everybody's safe. I guess there was one incident where a kiddo was in line, and then at the very end just like didn't come into the classroom, and so he was standing out on the playground. There were other kiddos out there, and so we were just radioed, hey, you know, this kiddo eloped from you guys, you need to come back out and get him. Which is kind of scary, you know, as a parent. I hear something like that, but it's not like that kiddo was unsupervised. So you know what I mean? Like the kid made the choice. Can't fault the teacher. The teacher has to get inside. I actually had that happen to me once when I worked at a daycare, and the family was so mad at me because the kiddo was outside. But I'm like, I'm standing at the door trying to get these other 15 kiddos into the room, and your kiddo is hiding under a toy. Are you supposed to walk in the room? Because I was standing in the doorway of there was a door that went outside between the classroom and outside, and I was standing in the doorway. I got all the kids inside. The door did close for a moment. And I turned around and opened it back up. And as I was opening it, the parents saw me. And I think that's probably what it was. But I was trying to get that kid to come in, but he wasn't coming in. And so I get it. Like, it happens. Like, sometimes you cannot handle, like, if you have a full classroom of kiddos and they're moving and they're going inside and you don't see that kid is outside, you can't, like, what do you do? You know? So anyway, they did send somebody out to grab that child and bring him in. And so what I decided to do was I went to the assistant principal again, and I said, hey, you know, I'm seeing this need. What if we got lanyards for all of these kids that were color coded so that everybody knows which classroom they belong with, so that if a kiddo goes with the wrong class, or like in the lunchroom, if they're sitting with the wrong group, it will help me more easily identify kiddos that are supposed to go with a different teacher. And I can't explain, because I have lunchroom duty with these kids. I cannot explain how much easier it made my life being able to just walk up to a kid and say, oh, you are with that classroom, just because of the color coding, you know? And so it did make a lot of lives easier for the people that were helping out. However, I guess these lanyards were, because once I was approved, I went ahead and purchased them. I'm supposed to get reimbursed for it. But I went ahead and purchased them, and then I put them all together. I put all the names on them. I got them all put together. And I don't know if the teachers did or did not have a conversation with these kiddos about how to use these lanyards. I noticed that the teachers are using them like as an all-day item, which I don't think is a great idea, because kids are rough with things, and especially things that they can play with around their neck. So I don't know that that's a great idea. I might have to talk to the teachers, but several of the lanyards have already broken, and did in the first day, which makes me so sad, because, like, you know, I really wanted this to be a successful thing. So I've been looking into even more ideas to see what I can figure out. So if you have any ideas, things that you've seen at schools, things that you think would be great to implement to help, it was nice because it had the kids' names on them. And like I said, they're color coordinated or color coded, I should say, because like, all of them had like a navy blue lanyard, but then I went and cut paper into pieces that were the size to fit inside the little pouches. I made sure the pouches had like a zip top, and then I cut all of these pieces of paper and then wrote all of these 98 kids' names on these different pieces of paper based on their classroom, and then brought them home, and my twins and I stuffed all of them into these lanyards, put them all together, and then I took them to school the next day and passed them out, which was Thursday was when I passed them out. And by Thursday afternoon, several were broken, and, you know, people had complained. And it just, like I said, it kind of makes me sad, because I wanted it to work. However, you know, when you're working with 98 kindergartners and they're so little and they do what they do. Oh, I just dropped one. Okay, we'll pick a different color. They do what they do. You know, it kind of is what it is. So my boyfriend did buy another pack of lanyards because I guess I actually was shorted 2, and then he was like, well, we can't really reach out to the seller. They're going to ask you to send them back anyway. So, and I had already stuffed them and done all of that before I figured it out. So he just bought another pack. And so now I'm like, great, now I have this brand new box of lanyards that is, you know, that is probably unusable because these other ones broke so easily. And, you know, we spent this money, and he spent his money that, like, he won't get reimbursed for it. And then the school spent this money. So I don't know, I'm just finding it frustrating, and it just, yeah. I feel bad because I was trying to help, and I don't want the kindergarten teachers to be frustrated, feeling like they have even more work to do to try to help identify these kids by trying to either, you know, retie these lanyards or whatever it is that's breaking on them. It just sucks. So I'm going to work on figuring that out next week. And I wish I could just meet with the kindergarten teachers and ask them what they would like. You know, I wish they all had a time when I could meet with them together, but I digress. So let's see. Friday, yesterday was we have short days on Fridays. Like, school doesn't start until about an hour later than normal. And I don't know why it seemed like such a long day, but I was exhausted by the time the day was done, because we had a kiddo that just was having such a hard time, a kindergartner. And I actually, like, he was eloping, and I had to track him down and keep track of him. He did elope outside. I had to report that. And then I got him into like a little hallway that had no exit, and kind of cornered him in the hallway as I waited for administration to come and help. And I had been like with him. I mean, I had been with him for quite a while. For the majority of 2 hours, I think I was with him. And it wasn't until the last probably half an hour that I finally was like, I have other job duties that were coming towards the end of the day. Nothing I'm doing is working, and he won't stop running. And so I finally called administration and was like, hey, you know, we were fine for a while. He sat for a while, but then we started running, and now we're hitting and shoving and scratching, and I just need help. And then he got past me and ran again, but we got him into a room, and he went in the room and tore the room apart. So then, you know, we were trying to encourage him to pick up, and he didn't want to do that. Like, he was just really having a rough end of day on Friday, which is so unfortunate, because, like, you know, you never want to see a kid having to go through something like that. And I don't know what's going on in his home life and why he might be acting out. And it just, I don't know. So yeah. I ran a lot. I did 10,000 steps yesterday, a lot of it in the afternoon, running around after him, just following him when he wasn't running. And then, you know, because when he wasn't running, it was fine because he wasn't trying to get anywhere that he shouldn't. But so I just kind of followed him around. But then when he did start running, it was a very big problem. So that was, it was a day. And then I did also on Friday, they had peanut butter, and, you know, some kids have peanut butter allergies. So I tried to make myself available for that kind of stuff in case anybody needed to have lunch with me. Because, man, how much would it suck to not be able to eat with any of your friends because of allergies? Like, it's, yeah, I don't know. I tried to make myself available for that kind of stuff. So that was okay. And I also started working on, a teacher asked for a sticker chart. So I started working on creating one of those on Friday, but I did not get very much done because, like I said, I was busy with the runner. And then yesterday evening, my boyfriend and my girls and I watched the newest Twister movie. I've seen it already, and my oldest daughter has seen it already, but my twins had not, and we all decided to go ahead and watch it together. I think it's a pretty good movie. I really enjoy it. So, yeah, we enjoyed doing that. Otherwise, I haven't really watched anything. I still have not watched the final season of Umbrella Academy. I don't know. I think I hate to say this, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned, I think I'm avoiding. Oh, I'm putting these in the wrong spot. Okay. I think I'm avoiding, and I'd rather not avoid if I can, get past that at all possible. So I'm hoping maybe I will convince myself to watch it this weekend. I don't know. I just, I had so many hopes, and hearing that it's not good is, it is what it is. Anyway, and then I don't know if I've mentioned some of the YouTubers that I think I was supposed to add that into my video before. or whatever. I don't know. I've been watching, Stephanie Harlow does true crime videos, but she's also part of a podcast with, what is his name? It's Lavasser is his last name. I cannot remember. But anyway, I've kind of been enjoying those too. I don't necessarily enjoy everyone because they're not all my cup of tea, but I've been enjoying that, seeing the back and forth with them. And definitely watch Bailey Sarian because she does true crime stuff too. Murder mystery makeup kind of stuff. And I definitely listen to Mr. Ballin podcast on my Amazon, and I follow him on YouTube as well. Then there's so many YouTubers that I just follow on here for their content, and I'm so like impressed with how much time people have to do videos and things like that. I feel like for me, just based on the fact that I do work close to 50 hours a week, like over the summer, this was great because I had so much time, and I feel like I'm doing a decent job given the amount of time that I have. I'm spending a large portion of my Saturday basically doing recordings. I think I'm going to try recording my ASMR videos at the library just because they have rooms where it's nice and quiet, and I can just set aside, some stuff and go in and record multiples at a time. And that would be nice just to get those out of the way in a place where I can have a little bit more control over the sound. Like right now, it sounds so nice and peaceful here. And like my air conditioner is not even running right now. I don't hear anybody outside mowing. Like it just is nice and peaceful and quiet. But it's not always like this, and I never know. Like this morning it thunderstormed, and then I hope you guys don't mind me fixing all of these. This morning it thunderstormed, so that was the thing that I had to wait for to do this. And then like I said, the girls had their fans on, and then I waited for them to eat breakfast, and yeah, I wasn't going to wait for the lawn to get mowed. I mean, I would have missed out on, I'm almost 40 minutes into my video. So that's, and I am meeting with Dip in Time today to possibly record our video. So that will be cool. We're going to be meeting later. So I don't know if we're actually going to get that recorded today. And if so, I'm not sure when that will be up, but that's something to look out for. I just placed 3 too many. I don't want to put them in my tray because these are going to have sticky on the other side. Just go ahead and put them in the trash. But yeah, so that's something that I'm looking forward to. And otherwise, I'm just kind of I'm planning to record that with her, and then I will edit and upload this one. And like I said, I'll go to the library and record those other ones. And then I think I'm going to stop there because I do have another video already recorded and edited and ready to go. And then that will be a little bit helpful for me this week. And tomorrow I can edit, and then I will go ahead and have those ready in my queue to go out. So I definitely prefer this method. I don't have time during the week really to record. So trying to get everything done on one day is sometimes hard, but I'm finding it works best for me. So that's kind of, yeah. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so we'll go ahead and shift gears, and I'll kind of bring up, I had mentioned that I might talk about my thoughts on AI. I would really like for people to kind of keep an open mind. Whatever you do that makes you happy is what makes you happy. Whatever you want to do is up to you. I kind of wanted to share my thoughts and my reasoning for my purchases and my non-purchases. And just let you know, because I'm sure this is it is a hot topic, and I don't want it to be something where people argue or are upset, and I don't want people to be listening to this to become upset with how I feel about this. So hopefully, again, like I said, you'll be able to keep an open mind and just hear me out. I know people who create art. One of my daughters actually does digital art. My other daughter creates everything by hand. It's got a pretty big impact on my life and impacts people I care about. I know people who do photography. I have multiple family members who are photographers, and I know and respect a lot of people who do photography and that kind of stuff as well. So I don't personally have a stake in this. but I want to support the ones that do. And so this is just my thought process. Again, take it, leave it, whatever you think is what you think. And I'm perfectly fine with how you feel. I don't, I see a lot of AI in the diamond art community. And if you purchase AI, fine. If you don't purchase AI, fine. But here's why I choose to behave the way I behave. So I've actually heard from artists who create that they have problems with AI, and they have requested AI not be used simply because it cannot be copyrighted. It is unregulated. And a lot of programs, I'm not saying every, but there are a lot of programs out there that use other people's art to learn how to create art, or even will use pieces of their art to create art. I recently watched a TikTok of Misha Collins, and he was trying to have a conversation with AI, and it actually gave him information from Supernatural. And he didn't bring up Supernatural in it at all. It was using his voice. He was communicating with it, and it called him Castiel. And if you don't know, he plays Castiel in Supernatural. And it just kind of verified to me everything that I've been hearing. I think my camera's been slowly dropping as we've been recording. I am so sorry if it has. I have to figure that out. I don't know how to fix it. If any of you know how to fix it, please let me know, because I've tightened all of the things and I don't know how to fix it. But anyway, it has been slowly dropping. I am so sorry. Hopefully, everything's still in view, so hopefully that's okay. But anyway, that kind of confirmed to me, like, it's using information and taking pieces of it and copying those pieces and calling it original. And so that to me is a problem, because like, what artist out there wants to have to compete, right? So I feel like if I have artist friends who are saying, I really don't like this, I don't like AI, it bothers me, it upsets me that people are buying it, then I'm not going to buy it, because I want to support them. And not only that, but we don't know if it's using like pieces of this picture and pieces of that picture to create a single image. And oh, that was really loud outside. I don't know what that was. There's a truck next door. I apologize if that was a really loud rumble for you guys. Anyway, so just because of those kinds of things, and because I know people who are not comfortable with it, they feel like it is art theft. I can't support it. And so I personally do not want to buy AI art. And the only part of this whole thing that I find most upsetting, because like I said, I have no stake in the game. So, this is not, I can't just be like, oh, don't create that, you're upsetting me, because it doesn't matter, right? I'm a simple everyday person. I don't do those kinds of things, don't do any art. So it's not anybody else's responsibility to make sure I'm happy. But I have had communication with companies and said, hey, like, I didn't realize that this was AI. Would you please make sure, because I personally won't buy it, would you please make sure to identify in the listing that this is AI, so that I can be an informed consumer? That's all I asked. Like, I wasn't challenging them. I wasn't being cruel. I don't know if they were having a bad day. I don't know what it was, but their response to me was aggressive and made me feel very uncomfortable. So unfortunately, that is a company that I used to buy that I will no longer buy. And I can't, it makes me sad. I had another company that I reached out to and was like, hey, same thing. I actually had purchased 2 images. And I was like, hey, I did this in support of you, but I didn't realize they were AI. Would you be open to identifying under the listing. I even, like, because the last one had been so rude to me, I even approached this company differently and say, would you be open to just identifying this artist as AI? Because I really want to be an informed consumer. And I don't care if any of that image was produced without it. If there was AI involved in it, I don't want any part of it. And I didn't say that part. That's just me, just generally speaking. Sorry, I should clarify. I didn't say any of that last part in the post. I just said, would you be opposed to identifying this as AI because I want to be an informed consumer? And I never really got a response. I was asked which artist, and I let them know, and then I never really got a response after that. So I've not had a great track record with companies with being open to just hearing me out. Like I said, I personally, if it's made with AI at all, I don't want to buy it. And there was an image that I was given that is AI that I will possibly look at destashing later. And then I have 2 images that I had purchased before I discovered that they were created by an AI artist, because the companies just didn't identify that they were that. And I should be able to be an informed consumer. It doesn't take much to identify this information for these people, or for these pieces of art. So why are we not doing that? Like, why, if you know this is such a controversial topic, if you know that some people do not support this art process, then why aren't we listing them? Why aren't we helping people be informed? I don't understand that. And I'm seeing so much pushback against people who do not purchase AI, and I'm not seeing pushback against people who do. And so I feel like I'm being silenced when I feel like it's uncomfortable for me to be able to just say, hey, I have an opinion too. Can I have an opinion too? And so hopefully nobody is offended by this, my opinions on here, and hopefully, like, you all are understanding. And for those of you that are, I really appreciate you. AI is incredibly easy to create, like incredibly easy. And I've created some myself, so I know this. I created a color sheet for the kiddos at school using a program called Canva. Really easy to do. I have created, and it was a superhero that the kids loved. It literally took me 2 minutes. All I had to do was put in the chat, flying black and white superhero. That was it. And it came up, perfect image, everything that I needed. Less than 2 minutes. There was like some shading underneath the body of the superhero, and I went in and hand removed that. Is that considered creating my own art because I just removed the shadowing underneath it? I tweaked the image just slightly. And like the very end of my videos, you'll see there's a picture of a butterfly and there's some music underneath it. The music is something my daughter created, but that butterfly is something I created using Facebook AI. Literally, I 3 attempts, I think, is all it took for me to find an image that I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take it. I don't know if other people love it or not, but it was super easy. And it doesn't take much to put in prompts and say, this is what I want, you know? If you have a creative mind at all, it doesn't take much. And I get not everybody has that creative mind, but I can tell you for sure, there's nothing that I can do artistically aside from designs on my fingernails. Like when I used to paint fingernails. Like, I cannot create art. I can't create a picture. I can't create, I can do diamond art. I can make cakes. I can put together models and follow directions really well, but creating something that is my own, out of my own brain, and drawing it and filling it in and giving it shadings and give it lighting, I can't do that. But in 3 tries, I can create an AI image. So when you're talking about something like, something like an image being created through AI, and then the artist going in and not hand rendering at all, doing nothing but just selling it as it is. they are selling, 15, 20 images a week, where they're making profits on all of those. When like somebody who does like hand art, like they create from their own hands, not using AI, not using any kind of resource like that, and it takes them weeks or months or years to create, they cannot sell as much. So they do not make as much of a profit. And it seems incredibly unfair to me that an artist can work so hard and put their heart and soul into creating these beautiful pieces that have so much depth and feeling. Like I've never seen an AI image that I was like, that evokes a feeling in me. I've seen it and gone, wow, that's really pretty, but it doesn't ever make me feel any kind of way. And when I do art, when I'm going to hang art in my house, that's what I want it to do. I want it to evoke a feeling. I want to be able to have sustenance behind it. And I want to support and pay money for somebody to create something so amazing. I want to support them financially. And I just keep going, well, AI art, I'm paying all this money for somebody to spend a few minutes creating and possibly tweaking this image, if that's even actually what's happening. I'm not sure. So I feel like I don't want to financially support somebody doing something that I could do on my own. I could go create my own AI image and send it over to be rendered. I can, because there's all kinds of places where you can go and have them do your own image. Oh my gosh, my brain is blanking on what that's called. What is that called? Customs. Sorry, my brain blanked. I could go in, make an AI image, whatever it is that I want. I could make exactly what I want, and I could go and get a custom of that diamond painting and know that all of that money went to the company because I created the image. I'm supporting myself, So I guess for me, I would rather pay somebody who is spent their blood, sweat, and tears creating something that gives me emotions and thoughts and depth than spend money on somebody who took 15 minutes or less. And I do want to be able to support an artist who has that talent and took years honing in on that talent. And that's just my opinion, Again, repeat myself here, and I'm so sorry, but if you want to purchase from somebody who creates AI, if you want to purchase from companies who sell mostly AI or do not disclose that is AI created, that's completely fine. That's up to you. You do you. But I really hope that people will stop being so angry and bashing on people for not purchasing it. I just, as much as I want people to stop bashing on people for purchasing it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I get why there's some fighting there, because if an artist is out there saying, this is hurting my business, this is hurting my company, this is taking away from my livelihood because this company has stolen information from my art and created new art, that's a problem. And I say this because, I have heard, now I cannot verify, and if I can find a link to information, I will, but I've heard that Josephine Wall has had, or another artist of that caliber, has had their art actually stolen and replicated pieces of it in other people's artwork. And I know that there are artists that I have seen on popular diamond painting companies that have art very similar to Josephine Wall, and it's AI. So if that's the case, I tend to believe her, because this is just something that I'm seeing. There's a pretty big plethora of information out there about AI, about artists and why they don't support it. There's artists who do support it, obviously. A lot of them use AI. And AI can be a great tool, I was in Crafting with Shay had a recent WIP and chat where we're supposed to put in a keyword for the event that I'm working on, that this diamond painting is for. And I used AI to create a poem for my comment because I could not think, I could not brain, and I had no creativity. And so I just was like, chatbot in prompt, can you create this? I literally just said, create a poem using diamond art and road. And the poem that I posted under her video is from that. It did not take me long to put that into the chat prompt and then copy it and paste it. Like, it didn't take me very long at all. It was sad how quickly I was able to get that done. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. And if my research, if my information that I have gathered is wrong, then please show me receipts. Tell me where I'm wrong, because I want to learn. I want to learn. And if there is more information out there that I don't know, that I haven't been, if I haven't found that path to learn more information and that I could be wrong, please, I would love to know. But this is just what I found so far in my research on the topic. And I have researched it quite a bit. I wanted to be well informed. I wanted to make sure that I was supporting everything that makes me feel good. That's why I do not, like, when I very first started diamond painting, I purchased so many images that were not licensed and potentially stole from artists. And it breaks my heart because a lot of those images, I love them and I want to be able to work on them, and I haven't because I can't show them on my channel. I can show them on Instagram, and sometimes I have like gone ahead and completed them. I won't share where I purchased them from when I do that. And I clarify that I did not know this was unlicensed artwork when I purchased it, and so I will not be showing where I purchased it. People have their own way of finding out things, and if they really, really want it, they're going to find a way, right? But I like to support artists, and I should probably say, when it comes to licensed and unlicensed artwork, again, you do you. I just want to support artists, and I live in a place where that's a thing that we try to do is to make sure we're following copyrights. And if a person has a copyright on their stuff, then it's, or licensed, if their images are for themselves, then that's that. Which I should clarify, I have learned recently that copyright and licensing is not anywhere near the same thing. And so AI can be licensed, but it can't be copyrighted. So I don't know what that looks like. Does that mean that somebody could potentially go in and say that that's their art because it was not copyrighted? I don't know. Very interesting thought. I would like to know if you have an opinion on that, or if you know any more information on that. I would be interested to know. That's something I plan on doing research on next. Like, I don't know. I think everybody, again, like I said, I think everybody should have their own opinion on this. Do research into it. Do what makes you feel good. Whatever makes you happy. I'm not going to be mad at somebody or condemn somebody for working on unlicensed art. I'm not going to condemn anybody for working on AI art. But I won't purchase them for myself because I have chosen a different route. That doesn't mean that my route's better. It doesn't mean that it's worse. It doesn't mean that you're bad or I'm wrong. It just means that that's what I'm choosing for me because I know people in the industry and want to support them and want them to feel heard. And I know people who have been hurt. I know people who have quit doing art altogether that were very talented because of this topic. And it's heartbreaking to see how much these people's livelihoods are being affected by it. And it's not regulated at all. So we really truly do not know we don't know which AI program people are using, and not all of them are created equal. And even the ones that are supposedly doing them, in a more ethical manner, that may not be the way. How do we prove that? How do we prove that this program that goes out and learns information from the internet is not, it could go to any website as long as it's, it could be following a trail down a website to go learn information, and that website may have copies of pictures that shouldn't be on there. Like the dark web is something that's out there. There's pictures on there that should never exist, but they do. And so there are going to be websites that are like, oh, check out this image, and it's a link to something that isn't the right link, or it's just an image that's on there, and that's not one of the websites that's blocked off from these AI learning programs. And I understand people say this AI is a medium just like any other medium, but when it's doing all the creating for you, or a majority of the creating for you, and you don't have to think about really what's happening in that image, is it really a tool, or is it a crutch? You know? So anyway, I've rambled on about this for entirely too long. I hope I have not offended anybody. And if I have offended you, I apologize profusely. That is not my intent. I do not want to offend anybody. I want everybody to be able to just have a say and feel like it's okay to say so. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you should be able to go in my comment section and say, hey, I totally appreciate how you feel about this. I personally don't have that same feeling. I will continue to purchase AI, and, you know, we can still be friends. And that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to be hurt. I just want to be heard. And I want everybody to feel like they can be. At first, like I said, I think there was an outcry against AI, and then there was so much pushback from creators who create with AI and people who wanted to support those creators, that now it's kind of gone the opposite direction. And now you cannot have an opinion stating that AI is not okay without severe backlash. And so I am hoping and crossing my fingers that does not happen on my channel, and that we are going to create a community here of people who are okay with people having opinions and accepting our own thoughts and share them, and acknowledge that, you know, what works for you doesn't work for me, or vice versa. And that's okay, right? And it should be okay. So anyway, I will go ahead and end here. I know I have one more color to do, but this color is incredibly trash prone, and you will get frustrated watching me pick out all of the trash trying to fill this in. If, like I said, if I get this finished this weekend before I edit this video and put it up, and I will go ahead and post a completion in the, actually, I'll post it here, and hopefully you enjoy that. But otherwise, I will go, and I will see you in my next video. Just remember that wherever you go to take care of your mental health is a Sparkle Sanctuary. Again, for me, that's diamond painting, and hopefully it's, you know, for you too. Hopefully it is a sanctuary for you. Just remember to take time for yourself this week. Take care of you, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Ha ha ha.